What is up, everybody? I'm George Mossey. This is the Family Chantel Season 4, Episode 4 podcast recap. Grab a drink, grab a snack. Let's go over the episode and see if we can discover something you might have missed on the new episode of the Family Chantel. So it's time for the housewarming party, and Chantel has spared no expense, catered food, decorations, balloons, everything that you can think of. And Pedro looks at it as though it's a party for 100 people, but it's not. It's just a party for River, Karen, Thomas, and Winter, and he thinks that it's extra. But in America, when you buy your first home, having a housewarming party and being a little extra is a bit normal. In America, we're a bit extra. So Karen and Thomas arrive first, and Pedro kind of seems to be unexcited to see them. He kind of even glances over at them as though he's irritated or annoyed, which everyone finds to be a little interesting because Pedro has always been very vocal, and he would get up and greet them when they walked into the room. So within moments of the toast of their new home, Thomas has the question that has been on everyone's mind, especially Miss Karen's: where's the grandkids? When exactly do we get the grandkids that we were promised? And Pedro reveals that they are not ready to have grandkids, and it can be up to 5 years before they're ready to give them the grandchildren that they want. In actuality, Pedro really feels like they're not mentally or physically ready to have kids due to the state of their relationship. But again, Karen and Thomas don't actually know that. So River and Winter arrive at the party, and River shocks everybody at the party because he has actually shaved his head, buzz cut his hair, and everyone knows the signature look that River has always had was his hair. So the fact that he changed his haircut, didn't tell anyone in the family, and then showed up to the housewarming party to surprise everyone, kind of took everyone by surprise. So right after River arrives to take the attention off of his new haircut, he immediately asks if Chantel is pregnant, which Chantel actually doesn't mind the grilling of Pedro and the asking questions, because she would rather get the answers from someone than no one. And Pedro isn't actually offering any information to her about why he's different, why he's changed, and why that he doesn't really want to be bothered with her anymore. So Winter finally gives us an update on her relationship with Masoma. We all know that she's been talking to Masoma for quite a while, and they haven't met in person, but they have grown very close. At least we thought they had prior to her gastric sleeve surgery. So we find out after the surgery, they had been talking, and he had mentioned that there was a fragrance that he really liked that a family member had worn. That family member had in turn passed away, and as a good gesture, Winter decided to send that fragrance to him, which was a very sweet, kind, generous thing to do. But in turn, Masoma has then asked Winter to send him a new cell phone, and this made her feel very uncomfortable, and she's actually started to push back from the relationship, and she's not giving it as much as she was before, because again, this is not the relationship that she's looking for, not the dynamic that she wants to be in. She wouldn't be the one giving gifts all the time. In a relationship, it should go back and forth. Chantel does chime in and say that she did send quite a few gifts to Pedro overseas, but that conversation turned sour because she says that a lot of times that when she did send gifts, Pedro was actually ungrateful and even asked why she didn't send more or bigger sizes of items. And Pedro in turn flipped the conversation and said, well, I buy Chantel a new cell phone every year. And it turned into a battle of who buys who the most stuff. And the family all felt very confused, and they had realized that this argument had not started there. This argument was something that had been carried on from another night, another day, another situation. So we jump over to the Dominican Republic, and it's time for Nicole to compete in the Miss Dominican pageant competition. And everyone in her family has traveled. Her grandmother will be watching it on TV. She has family and friends present, and she's super excited for the competition. She does really well. She actually places in the top 10, which is not a small order for anyone. To go into the top 10 of so many different beautiful and talented women, we just want to congratulate Nicole on her accomplishment in being able to get back into the pageant world and prove that she is definitely ready to get back in the game and start winning. It was sad to see the look on Nicole's face when she found out she didn't win, because she said it really disappointed her that her mother was disappointed. But I want to stress that placing in the top 5 is definitely something to be celebrated. And I do feel like it's possible to feel like you've let someone down, but in actuality, going out and doing it and placing is not letting anyone down. You are actually motivating yourself and showing others that you are definitely dedicated to win. So River has shocked everyone 2 episodes ago and told us that he wanted to move out of his parents' house. This episode, we find out that River actually did move out of his parents' house. He actually got a new haircut, moved out of the house, and Miss Karen said that it was a very abrupt move. He said that he wanted to move. Within a couple of weeks, he found the place and he was gone. So everyone is really speculating what's going on with River. Does he have a girlfriend living with him? What's going on? I guess we're gonna have to wait and see what's really going on with River, because what would make him want to move out of his parents' house so abruptly? So we all know that Nicole and Alejandro have broken up. That is something that we learned last season, and this season we know that they are still broken up. We do know that they ended that relationship due to disapproval from Lydia and Pedro, her mom and her brother. We know that there was no actual cheating. We do know that Alejandro was actually texting other people, but there was no proof of any actual cheating. And we know that Nicole decided to end her relationship with Alejandro to please her mother and to make things better in her house. So Alejandro doesn't feel like the relationship is actually over. So he has actually traveled from NYC all the way to Santo Domingo to Nicole's job to plead with her for another chance to get their relationship back on track. Now, I don't know if this is gonna work, but we do know that Nicole is feeling a bit down after not taking home the crown in the Miss Dominican pageant. So this might be a situation where Alejandro is actually going to be able to capitalize on her vulnerability and maybe be able to get back into a relationship with her, which is probably not gonna make Pedro or Lydia happy in any way. Well, that's what happened on this episode of Season 4, Episode 4 of The Family Chantel. I'm George Mossey. This is the podcast recap. Make sure you live tweet with us every Monday night for The Family Chantel, and I'll talk to you all really soon.